I'm going to read the book. I am going to check out The Man Who Stepped Into Yesterday. This is something that a lot of people have been asking me for a long time. I figured what I would do is hop right into the start of the very beginning. We're going to listen to the thesis. I will be following it up relatively shortly, probably not today, but relatively shortly, with the 2023 one, so I can see where it started and where it ended up. After I finish this particular video, which appears to check out to about an hour, I'm going to listen to Iculus on Junta. So that's what's going to happen. This is what we're going to do. Guys, I am going to hit the play button. But before I do, it's very important to me that you know that you are awesome, that you are valuable, that you are important, that you matter, that you are deserving of love, and that I am abundantly grateful for even a moment of your time. If you like what you see, feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button. It goes a long way to help me out. And if you really like what you see, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you, or join us on Twitch. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Arizona time. I would love to see you. Come discover some music with us. Guys, without further ado, though, let's check out The Man Who Stepped Into Yesterday. Here we go. I've also got the original thesis, like right here.
Wilson. Wilson.
This isn't lyrics.
Wilson.
Okay. Now, my understanding is this was done on a 4-track, right? Thus the tape noise. So it is what I was thinking.
Once upon a time, there was a mountain that rose out of a vast green forest. And in the forest, there were birds and lakes and rocks and trees and rivers. The forest was also inhabited by a small group of people called the lizards. The lizards were simple people, and they had lived in the forest undisturbed for thousands of years in utter peace.
Hang on. I want to find where I'm supposed to be. Where am I supposed to be? Sorry. I'm sitting here like just being terrible. Here, this will work. I'm gonna go back a little bit. I think I went back enough. Did all of the members of Phish play with him?
Once upon a time, there was a mountain that rose out of a vast green forest. And in the forest there were birds and lakes and rocks and trees and rivers. The forest was also inhabited by a small group of people called the lizards. The lizards were simple people, and they had lived in the forest undisturbed for thousands of years in utter peace and tranquility. Once a year, when spring came and the first blossoms began to show, the lizards would gather at the base of the mountain to give thanks for all that they had. They thanked the birds, and they thanked the lakes, and they thanked the rocks, and the trees, and the rivers. But most importantly, they thanked Iculus. Iculus lived on top of the mountain, or at least everyone thought so, for no one had actually ever seen him. But they knew he existed because they had the Helping Friendly book.
I would like to take a brief moment in this video and just shout out helping_friendly_book. Helping_friendly_book is a Twitch user and is the one who, at the end of the day, if other than Drew Carey, introduced me to Phish. So shout out to that Twitch user, helping_friendly_book.
Iculus had given the Helping Friendly book to the lizards thousands of years earlier as a gift. It contained all of the knowledge inherent in the universe and had enabled the lizards to exist in harmony with nature for years. And so they lived, until one day a traveler arrived in Gamehenge. His name was Wilson, and he quickly became intrigued by the lizard's way of life. He asked if he could stay on and live in the forest, and the lizards, who had never seen an outsider, were happy to oblige. Wilson lived with the lizards for a few years, studying the ways of the Helping Friendly book, and all.
I just want to be clear on what the Helping Friendly book does. It had given the Helping Friendly book to the lizards thousands of years earlier as a gift and contained all the knowledge inherent in the universe and enabled the lizards to exist in harmony with nature for years. Okay, great. Got it.
All was well, until one morning, when they awoke and the book was gone. Wilson explained that he had hidden the book, knowing that the lizards had become dependent on it for survival. He declared himself king and enslaved the innocent people of Gamehenge.
Wilson!
He cut down the trees and built a city, which he called Prussia, and in the center of the city he built a castle, and locked in the highest tower of the castle lay the Helping Friendly book, out of the reach of the lizards forever. But our story begins in a different time, not in Gamehenge, but on a suburban street in Long Island, and our hero is no king sitting in a castle. He is a retired colonel, shaving in his bathroom.
Huh. Was it all played as a live take?
Colonel Forbin looked square in the mirror and dragged the blade across his cold creamed skin.
It had to have
He
been,
saw
right?
the tired little folds of flesh that lay in a heap beneath his eyes. 52 years of obedient self-restraint, of hiding his tension behind a serene veil of composure. For 52 years he had piled it all on the back burner, and for 52 years it had boiled, frothing over in a turbulent storm inside of him. It had escaped through his eyes, reacting with the cigarette smoke and the fluorescent lights, and slowly accumulating into a sagging mass. He ran his dripping palm across the stubble on the nape of his neck and thought again about the door. He had discovered the door some months back on one of his ritualistic morning walks with his dog McGrupp. It had started out as a typical stroll, with McGrupp bounding joyously ahead of the preoccupied colonel. As they reached the apex of a hill, he saw it, and he knew it had always been there, and felt foolish for overlooking the door for so long.
Do you think does he read this as he goes through it, like when he does it in 2023, or does he just have this all on the dome? Like, does he just have this? And yes, Esther, for sure.
At first, he tried to ignore it, but he soon found that it was impossible. And slowly, his newly acquired knowledge transformed his dreary life into a prison from which there was only one escape. And on this morning, Colonel Forbin stepped through the door.
I like that the score of this story is their music. It makes me happy.
Passing through the corridor, I came upon an aging knight who leaned against the wall in gnarly armor.
Gnarly armor.
He was on his way to see the king. Wilson, Wilson, Wilson. He led me through the streets of Prussia, talking as he tried to crush a bug that scurried underneath his blue heel. He said there was a place where we should go. So he led me through the forest to the edge of a lagoon, by which we wandered till we reached a bubbly spring.
Bro, the way that their voices could, you know, all harmonize together and kind of go upwards in that, I loved it.
The night grew very quiet as we stood there. He lifted up his visor and he turned to me and he began to sing. He said, I come from the land of darkness. I said, I come from the land of doom. He said, I come from the land of demons. I'm from the land of the big baboon. But I never remember going back there. And I couldn't if I tried. Because I come from the land of lizards. And the lizards, they have died. And the lizards, they have died. And the lizards, they have died. And the lizards, they have...
Oh. And they're just kids. They're little pups doing this. Bro.
He told me that the lizards were a race of people practically extinct from doing things smart people don't do. He said he was once a lizard too.
Oh, wow.
His name was Rutherford the Brave, and he was on a quest to save the people from the fate that lay before them. Their clumsy end was perilously near. The lizards would be saved, he said, if they could be enlightened by the writings of the helping friendly book.
Yeah.
In all of Prussia, only one existed. And Wilson had declared that any person who possessed him was a crook.
Wilson is a friggin' douche. Like, he's an actual douche lord.
I come from the land of darkness. I said I come from the land of doom. He said I come from the land of demons. I'm from the land of the big baboon. But I never ever going back there. And I couldn't if I tried. Because I come from the land of lizards. And the lizards, they have died. And the lizards, they have died. And the lizards, they have died. And the lizards, they have...
I love the little jazzy break down here.
The helping friendly
I
book
love
it
this.
seemed possessed the ancient secrets of eternal joy and never-ending splendor. The
Oh my gosh. Dude. Dude. There it is. There it is, right there. Yeah. Oops. There it is.
trick was to surrender to the flow. The helping, friendly book, it seemed, possessed the ancient secrets of eternal joy and never-ending splendor. The trick was to surrender to the flow.
Friggin' Phish, man. There it is.
Beneath the moon,
Wow.
he led us through the bush till soon we saw before our eyes a raging river. He said we can swim it if we try. And saying this, the knight dove in, forgetting that his suit of arms would surely weigh him down, and so he sunk. And as his body disappeared before me, I bowed my head in silence and remembered all the thoughts that he had thought. He said, I come from the land of darkness. I said,
Our friend the knight isn't like the sharpest, tool.
I come from the land of doom. He said, I come from the land of Steamhenge, or from the land of the big baboon. But I never remember going back there, and I couldn't if I tried. Cause I come from the land of
What's it
lizards,
called?
and the lizards, they have
Rutherford the Smart. Fair enough. I love this, dude. And I really want to say, I'm going to go back a few moments so I can make this comment, but there is such a beautiful thing to me about the energy that comes with this. There is a huge excitement to me about any kind of lore-driven music. As a person who likes comic books, as a person who likes anime, as a person who likes stories, like... a big reason I like Giz is their lore-driven stuff, right? Like, yeah, those aren't songs that change your life, but they're fun songs to kind of live in a moment of imagination in. And I think that in this context, there's humor to this, there's fun to this, there's jazz to this, there's just good vibes to this, and like there's a story, it's super special. Yeah, like I'm 100% a nerd, and this is ringing the tuning fork of a nerd's loins like so hard right now. And listen to the keys. I mean, listen to them. Do it. And this song is Lizards, right? The keys, man. The jazz element to that is amazing.
But Rutherford and Corbin weren't alone. And suddenly, an unexpected movement caught his eye. On the far side of the river, he saw a shaggy creature standing in the weeds, who stared across at Corbin with an unrelenting gaze.
If you like this, you might really enjoy Eyes Like the Sky. It's a spaghetti western. It's significantly violent, but it's King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard's second album, and it's like very narrative like this, but they play, like the band plays spaghetti western music behind it with a psychedelic crazy twist, but kind of similar. And again, right in the same vein of like just stuff I love. This is amazing.
A gigantic mass of muscles and claws. The hideous beast reared back and hurled himself in the water and swam toward the region where Rutherford lay. And in a flash, the beast was gone. Underneath the surface, to the frosty depths below, while Forbin, bewildered, waited alone. The seconds dragging by him seemed like hours, till finally the Colonel felt it all had been a dream. Defeated, he bowed his head and turned to go. Suddenly, with a roar, the creature emerged before him.
Do you hear the guitar in the back?
And held the brave knight's body to the sky. And the creature laid the knight upon the shore. And the Colonel fell beside his friend in prayer that he'd survive. And Rutherford, brave Rutherford, was alive.
He even kind of writes with the soft prose, and I love it.
Forbin and the unit monster were crouched over the soggy knight, carefully removing his bulky helmet, when the Colonel heard a sound behind him. He turned around and came face to face with an enormous, shaggy, horse-like creature, covered from head to tail with alternating blotches of brown and white. It was a two-toned multi-beast, and atop the multi-beast sat the most beautiful woman the Colonel had ever seen.
The multi-beast.
After 52 years of undaunted bachelorhood, the Colonel felt a feeling rush over him that he had never felt before.
Colonel's getting a boner.
The sky is burning in this lonely land, and I kneel by the river, and I feel the sand and the wind from beyond the mountain.
Yeah, Colonel's having to deal with the bone dog right now.
Wind from beyond the mountains, and she comes to me in this lonely land, and looks down from the multi-beast on which she rides like the wind.
This lady sounds like an absolute G.
From beyond the mountains.
She rides a multi-beast.
Wind from beyond the mountains.
Hey, take care, Fishette Eye. So we don't like Tila? Ooh, energy. We like that. It's crazy how they do.
Tila, true love Wilson's foul domain.
It's crazy to me how they captured this on a 4-track. I would like to comment on the fact that they captured this on a 4-track. You know, it's you know, it's substantial. Where did it go? Okay, I'm further down than this, I think. No, I'm not. Where? There we are. Okay, cool.
Tila, true love Wilson's foul domain. A lullaby, the breezes whisper.
Oh, I like all of the dynamics, all of the twists and turns to this. Even then, he was messing around with his tones. What guitar is he playing in these days?
And I look into her eyes, and my frozen heart begins to thaw and burn till layer after layer melts away into a pool, a sky blue mirror of her eyes.
Oh, wow.
And my soul is made of marble, but in her gaze I crumble into dust and drift away on the wind.
The drum pocket here is really carrying this.
On the mountain. Wind from beyond the mountain.
This Tila seems to be a pretty bad lady, you know, like in a good, like bad in a good way. Like in my soul is made of marble, but in her gaze, I crumble into dust. What a way to say that, dude. And like all of these instrumental breakdowns and transitions just kind of take you to new scenes, and I really like that. A little tom heavy. Kind of a 60s sound right now.
Tila grew strong from her struggle to endure. In the shadow of Wilson's castle, time touched her wounds and shelter proved the cure. In the shadow of Wilson's castle, each passing day
Oh, wow.
seemed to feed the brazen serpent locked inside and liberate the spirit she'd concealed for so long. There was no place left to hide. Tila, true love Wilson's foul domain. Tila, true love Wilson's foul domain. A lullaby, the breezes whisper.
Tila reached out her hand and helped Forbin onto the back of the multi-beast. And together, they
Baseline,
rode off
let's go.
into the forest.
Yeah, all of these things really 100% transition you into new scenes of the song. love to see each of their setups for this.
As they rode, Tila explained to him about Wilson and the Helping Friendly book. She told the colonel that she was part of a revolution to overthrow the evil king. The leader of the revolution was a lizard named Errand Wolf, who was out to avenge the death of his son Roger. Roger, she said, had been executed by Wilson at the age of 14 on suspicion of treason. He had been abducted from his home and hung in the public square. The two rode on in silence, deeper and deeper into the heart of the forest, until they came to the outskirts.
Thank you, Flemnopes. Thank you for the gifted subs.
Small community. Tila explained to Forbin that they had reached the base of the revolutionaries. The colonel looked up, and there in the center of the clearing stood Errand Wolf. He was a small man, but his presence was overpowering. He seemed to emit a kind of violent energy that sent chills down the colonel's spine. And as the multi-beast moved towards him, he raised his fist in anger, and his voice filled the forest.
I've heard that part before.
Talk my Duke of Mountain, helping friendly book. And as far as factum, I think you bad crook. Wilson, feel pressure. I lay this hate on you. Wilson, Duke of Lizards. I beg it all true for you.
The tandem between the organ sound and the guitar sound there is really exciting to me. They have a jazzy psychedelic kind of sound to it, but also a classic rock kind of sound. Very old prog sound, and I love that.
I talked to my son Roger, Rutherford the same. When we had that
Game Hinge.
We had that meeting over down near Game. Wilson, king of pressure, I lay this hate on you. Wilson, king of lizards, I'm begging all tune for you. You got me back thinking that you're the worst one. I must inquire, Wilson. Can you still have fun, Wilson? Can you still have any fun now, Wilson? Wilson! Wilson! Oh, can you still have any fun now,
A 4-track, dude. 4 tracks, dude.
blah, blah,
Meanwhile, in the main square in Prussia, the state of the revolution was taking another turn for the worst. A crowd of townspeople had gathered to witness the hanging of Wilson's accountant, Mr. Palmer.
Mr.
It seemed that Palmer had been a revolutionary himself and had been extorting Wilson's money to fund the revolution. Palmer stood on the scaffold with Wilson
Let's
in the
go,
AC/DC bag, an electrified robot hangman with a black bag over his head. Wilson seemed pleased as he began to speak.
Mr. Palmer is concerned with $1,000 question. Just like Roger, he's a crazy little kid. I've got the time if you've got the inclination. So cheer up, Palmer, you'll soon be dead. And the noose is hanging, at least you won't die wondering. Sit up and take notice, tell it like it is.
Okay.
If I were near you, I wouldn't be far from you. I've got a feeling.
Thank you for the sub, Foldable
know
Bones.
what you did.
You know what you did.
Back. I sent this back. AC/DC back. This back. AC/DC back. AC/DC back.
It's crazy how you can hear they're such good musicians, and for a 4-track, the mix is actually really good, but like you can see when you gave them technology what they could do, you know?
AC/DC back. DC back. Time to put your money where your mouth is. Put 'em in the field and let 'em fight it out. I'm running so fast, my feet don't touch the ground. I'm a stranger here. I'm going now. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Let's get the show on the road.
That's the other thing I'm sitting here thinking about. These are college kids. This isn't the band Phish that we all know today who sells out 70,000, tickets. This is like kids in school, like doing this because they love music and they wanted to make something cool. And that's amazing to me.
I'll show you mine if you show me yours. I'm breathing hard. Open the door. AC/DC back. AC/DC back. AC/DC back. DC back. AC/DC forever. No future at all. Who would have thought it? Well, that's where I am. No future at all. Don't sweat it. That's where I am. Whoa, carry me down, down,
We're gonna hear it again. Bro.
By that night,
And yeah, it's gonna make me run an ad. So guys, I'm actually not gonna go say hi to People Knievel. I am just gonna stretch and refill my water cup. But take it 3. Be our bizzle. All right, let's do this thing. We're back.
news of Palmer's death had traveled back to the camp. By that night, news of Palmer's death had traveled back to the camp. Spirits were low, and Colonel Forbin felt devastated. Even though he had only been in Gamehenge for 1 day, he had already developed a deep hatred for Wilson.
Yeah, me too.
He wanted desperately to help the revolutionaries.
Yeah, me too.
But without Palmer, it seemed hopeless.
We need Palmer.
He wandered slowly through the camp and passed Aaron Wolf, sitting by the fire with Rutherford, who had returned that afternoon. He walked on and soon found himself outside of Tila's hut. Forbin knocked and
This feels like a rallying scene, right? Like you've got the tense atmosphere music and this kind of like doo-doo kind of bass line. Definitely building up to a scene.
walked in. Tila sat behind a makeshift desk in the center of a room that was littered with small cages containing spotted stripers, a tiny three-legged breed of animal. The unit monster sat in the corner. The colonel took a step toward Tila and spoke. "I needed to come here tonight," he said, "to tell you that I've fallen in love with you." He looked to her eyes for approval, but her face remained frozen in an expressionless stare. An awkward blanket of silence fell over the room and hung for a long moment
But he's like only been to Gamehenge for a day. How long has he known Tila, you know?
before being
He's kind of like being a lot real quick, you know?
shattered by the sound of the door swinging violently open. It was Rutherford the Brave. The ironclad knight rushed across the room and gripped the throats of Tila and the unit monster in each of his mighty hands. They struggled to break free, but even the unit monster was no match for Rutherford's power, and soon it was over. The bodies fell to the floor in a lifeless heap. Colonel Forbin stepped forward from where he stood in the corner, unable to contain his confusion and rage, and screamed, "Why?" His question was answered by Aaron Wolf, who had quietly slipped through the doorway during the confusion. She was a spy, he said, and explained to Forbin that she had been sending information to Wilson using the spotted stripers as carriers. Roger's death had aroused his suspicion, and Palmer's had confirmed it. The colonel stood in silence, in a world that had turned upside down so many times that he
Crimson, thank you for the gifted sub to Mr. Marmar. We love Mr. Marmar here.
no longer
Love
knew
you
which
too.
way was up. It had all seemed so simple when he first arrived. Good versus evil, and of course he had sided with good as he had done all of his life. And now he stood and stared into the eyes of Aaron Wolf, and he saw evil. The entire picture began to seem like an enormous puzzle with one piece missing, and the colonel knew what that piece was. Within 24 hours, he said to Aaron Wolf, "You will have the Helping Friendly book." And even as the words were leaving his lips, he found himself running out the door and into the forest, not towards Prussia, but toward the great mountain looming in the distance.
Dude, The music speeding up as Forbin takes off out the door. Wow. Like, it feels like this walk, so many of the things that they could do could run. But Tila kind of screwed us, you know?
Stared up at the mountain and wiped away the beads of sweat that glistened on his brow. His tired feet were buried in the quagmire, and his bloodshot eyes saw all that lay between him and fulfillment of his vow.
Wow.
And he felt his fingers wrap around a knotted root and pull his body upwards to a sea-green mossy boulder, and he dragged his weary carcass up the mountain, and he climbed.
Dude. He goes so many different directions with what he does. It's unreal. And to think that this is like just his brainchild, you know, like from his school days, right? Like, and to see what this would go on to become is so cool to me.
And the earth began to quake beneath his feet, and the mighty mountain changed before his eyes. And they stood amidst a sea of dust and rocks and stones cascading down the mountain, and 1,000 birds were headed for the sky. Oh.
Just your reminder to consider the birds.
The sacred creed will be yours.
Love you, Boar, so much, bro.
The sacred creed will be yours to devour, yours to seize and to obey. Obey.
Page with his little fills too.
To his knees by a blazing beam of light, and he saw the silhouette that stood before him, and he bowed in reverence, trembling in the shadow of the mighty legend's form.
Oh.
Iculus the prophet stood before his eyes, looking down on Colonel Forbin where he shuddered in the puddles and the muck, and he quietly addressed him, and he spoke so slowly.
Dude.
He said, Colonel Foreman, I know why you've come here, and I'll help you with your quest to gain the knowledge that you lack. I call upon my faithful friend the Mocking to seize the Hellfang book and bring it to your shack, and the tree of knowledge in your soul will grow, and the helping friendly book will plant the seed. But I warn you that all knowledge, seeming innocent and pure, becomes a deadly weapon in the hands of avarice and greed. Oh, the sacred greed will be yours. And if you wait till tomorrow, the sacred creed will be yours to devour, yours to seize and to obey. And to obey.
Famous mockingbird swooped down out of the sky and landed on Iculus' shoulder. And Iculus whispered into the bird's ear, and it flew off toward Wilson's castle in the valley below.
I gotta say, dude, I'm so impressed with their musicianship as such young kids. Also, when I see HFB, like, yeah, I think of Helping Friendly Book, but did you guys ever see the movie Clerks 2, where Jay and Silent Bob find Jesus, and they're like, is that an effing Bible? And Jason Mewes was like, the holy effing Bible. I just always think that when I hear Helping Friendly Book. Like, I always, in my brain, think, like, holy effing Bible. This has been such a fun transitionary piece. Like, it really kind of, I can see a little bird flying in my brain to this. Oh, wow. They were really experimenting with their harmonies back then, too. Again, they really grow so much of what they would go on to do for a living out of this album. Oh, man. The different changes in the tempo and rhythm here. This is my favorite part. The tension here. Coming back in. Oh man. The bass line here has me really excited. The bass line is amazing. I've really found myself appreciating a lot of the stuff Mike has been doing in my ears recently. Be introspective and consider the mockingbird. Like even that. And the bass behind it. I want to go back and hear that. It's amazing, dude. Oh, man.
next morning at the camp, Aaron Wolf and Rutherford stood frozen in awe as the famous mockingbird flew out of the sky and laid the helping friendly book at their feet. The quest for the book had dragged on for so many years that its sudden appearance left the men staring in disbelief, unsure of what their next move should be. The shock wore off quickly, though, and Aaron Wolf shot into high gear. He snatched up the book with one hand and the famous mockingbird with the other, and began to inform Rutherford of his plan. He would first kill Wilson, and then put the helping friendly book to work for him.
No! You're supposed to surrender.
With Rutherford's aid, he fastened the famous mockingbird to a pole with glue and rubber bands to ensure the secrecy of his mission, and then set out to find the only man in Gamehenge who could handle the job of eliminating a king.
I mean,
Call me the sloth.
I'm gonna go back so we can hear him say they call me the sloth again. But I really thought Aaron was a better guy than that. And I'm kind of bummed that Rutherford's like, yeah, let's go screw it up for everybody.
Call me the sloth. Italian spaghetti. Sleeping all day. Spend my nights in bars.
This is a perfect sound right now.
I'm so bad. Ain't got no friends. Stay out of my way. I'll take this piece of paper.
Why? Honey, why are you gonna slice a nipple? The sloth goes hard, dude.
They call me the sloth. Italian spaghetti. Sleeping all day. Spend my nights in bars.
Okay. Boots.
Colonel Forbin stared at the 14 bars that stood at the end of the cell. He ran his hand across the cold, damp dungeon wall and thought again about the door. He had traveled through the door out of necessity. Once he knew it existed, he simply couldn't leave it alone. Just like Wilson. Just like Tila. Just like Aaron Wolf. And he sat in the dungeon and he realized that he was back again through the door. And through the tiny window in the corner of his cell, he heard the distant strains.
Eastbound and Downy.
And he smiled.
Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking.
Riding down the road one day and someone hit a possum. I was riding down the road one day and someone hit a possum. The road was his end was the road, so they say.
Yeah, coming from Tennessee, the possum hitting occurrence is a frequent occurrence. I can't believe this is almost over. This has been so fun. I love the rockabilly, Cherry Reed sounding guitar here. I can't not hear Eastbound and Down when I hear this, though. A little bit of the Grateful Dead sound here. A little bit. Not to compare them, they're different. But a little bit. Loving this. What is the best Phish song that is an animal's name?
Ride down the road one day and someone hit a possum. I was riding down the road one day and someone hit a possum. The road was his end was the road, so they say.
The road was his end was the road.
Oh, possum.
They really were figuring out tension and release here. Okay. That was The Man Who Stepped Into Yesterday, done on a 4-track recording. And now I am going to follow that up with Iculus. So, here we go. It's just Iculus I got to listen to, right? Just Iculus? I don't need to listen to anything else? Just Iculus? I'm good? Yep. Do Sanity first, okay. So we're going to do Sanity and Iculus as well.
We'd like to do a little Jimmy Buffett now.
Okay. Boar, good luck, man. Health to you, homie. Read the book, buddy. I love you. I hope you feel better. I love this. You can like really hear the audience here, you know? And just so you know, I will go to Nectar's one day. Dun da 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 dun da 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 dun dun dun.
This song's by Jimmy Buffett.
Okay.
Sanity never came my way. Came his way. Sanity never came my way. His way. I don't know what I'll do today. 'Cause sanity never came my way. Lost my mind just a couple of times. His mind. A couple of times. You could spend your nickels, spend your dimes, but I lost my mind just a...
Oh, man. What a transition.
Trespass.
Oh.
Anywhere. Trespass anywhere. Oh, you'd better beware. 'Cause where trespass anywhere. I forgot the rules. I forgot my pride. His pride.
This reminds me of Ween a bit.
I forgot my pride, but pride need a place to hide.
Bro. These sounds are just huge.
Stars in the sky are very bright.
There's the up and down of this. This is an emotional roller coaster, dude.
Stars
are bright.
Stars, they really suck tonight.
Stars
the
suck.
stars in the sky are very bright. And I don't care if the world explodes. I don't care if the world explodes.
Okay.
You can save the whales. You can save the toads. But I don't care if the...
I feel like a dog hearing a dog whistle. What is this I'm hearing? Why does it sound like a boat horn?
Sanity never came my way.
Wow.
Sanity never came my way. I don't know what I'll do today, 'cause sanity never came my way. Lost my mind just a couple of times.
Lost his mind.
And slowing it down there.
Just a couple of times.
Wow. The bass is still sustaining. Wow. Huh? Thank you, good night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty good.
Go home.
Okay, I'm home. I'm already here. Coach! Coach is just yelling at somebody. Is the music part done? Letting it roll.
We're Jimmy Buffett. Good night.
Good night. It leads into Iculus. Got it. Nope, you did not lose Walter. Walter is still here. I like that we're... Okay, so the encore is what we're checking out. Walter in the Sky. I love that that's become like a thing now. It was not intentional, but I'm glad it happened. Who's shouting? Oh. Drunk person, got it. Featuring drunk person. Okay, Iculus.
We're gonna lighten it up a bit. We're gonna lighten it up a bit.
Cool. Okay. Nice.
This isn't really a stupid song. This is a special song. This is an important song.
This is a dance song.
This is Red Rocks! This is the edge!
Okay. Is that a chop at you too from doing the
No, really,
live
this
at Red
is a
Rocks?
song about. We want to get serious here because now that we have your attention, we want to
okay.
We want to talk about an important man who could have an important effect on everybody in this room's life if they were willing to take the chance to let this person into their hearts and beings. Because this is a special man.
Why do I feel like I'm about to hear Simple Man? And be simple.
This man was a great philosopher many years ago.
Kind of man. I didn't get it there at the end.
And this man wrote a great book. For this is the author of the Helping Friendly book. The book that could change your life the way it changed ours. And I hope that someday that you people will all have the chance to read the Helping Friendly book and experience the wisdom of the great and knowledgeable man who wrote the Helping Friendly book.
I like how he's just really building up
Because
the
he
Helping Friendly
is,
book, but not
The great
talking about
and
it at
knowledgeable.
all.
He is the one, the only author of the great Helping Friendly book. He is the man, the great man, the only, the special.
I'm getting so
His
edged right
name
now.
is the author of the Helping Friendly book. He is the great, the knowledgeable, the one and the only, the great, the knowledgeable person who wrote the Helping Friendly book. His name could only be the one, the only, the special, the author of the Helping Friendly book! He wrote the fucking book, okay? He wrote the book, and its name was If You Lie! Written by the great and knowledgeable If You Lie! My children are old enough to ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
A cold and lonely night.
I'm so dumb. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. I'm an actual stupid person. I'm an actual big dummy. And I gotta be honest, I wouldn't have caught it if I wasn't looking at the words.
A cold and lonely night. Running the pace of her fright. Look at her face tonight. Thank you.
They're just done? Guys, I think that this is one of my personal favorite songs from Phish. The long drawn out like introduction, nothing burger was hilarious. The fact that he's just like, read the freaking book, like. I know that's not what he said. That's not what he said. But anyway, neither here nor there. I just really loved it. And again, for the fact that I knew Helping Friendly book before I knew Phish was amazing. I loved this. I loved this song. I felt like, and honestly, I'm glad I listened to it now. Because I think if I would have listened to it when I listened to Junta, I wouldn't have appreciated it the same way I do now. So, to past Walter. Good job. You made a good decision that you really appreciate in your life today. I loved this so much. This was amazing. I loved that Iculus at the end of the day was just kind of a nothing burger to introduce a guy named Iculus that wants you to read the book, the Helping Friendly book. This is actually, like, this was such a fun thing. This was actually an entire blast. I have had a great Sunday. Guys, thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for hanging out with my altered beast behind me. Thank you so much for being around as I've found and discovered that Phish is one of my favorite bands. Thank you guys for your kindness, for your love, for your support. And I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for the positivity that you show both to me and one another. Continue to be the best. And until I see you next, be introspective and consider the birds. Goodbye.